The movie begins with cute scenes of a couple, Debbie and Stillman. We see a text convo between them with Debbie asking to talk with him. At a cafe, Debbie breaks the bad news that she thinks they must break up. Stillman is distraught, but has nothing to say to make her stay. Before Debbie leaves, he pulls out a time device, rewinding time and trying again to win her heart, but it does not work. After multiple time rewinds trying different ways to respond, including breaking up with her first, he finally stops and Debbie leaves, but he promises to not give up. Later, Stillman is in his office, heartbroken over his loss, recalling the good times between them. He wonders what went wrong with the relationship. He calls over his best friend Evan and shows him a detailed breakdown of his relationship with Debbie, asking for Evan's help to find what went wrong. In year 1, we see Stillman in class working out an equation that nobody else can figure out or was interested in. Evan reminds him of a party, and Stillman is a bit hesitant. The party turns out to be for Debbie, before they met. After gathering the courage to talk to her, he finally heads over to have a conversation with her. They talk about Debbie's life and future plans and seem to be hitting it off, until her best friend Ryan comes over. Feeling intimidated, Stillman decides to leave with Evan. Stillman realizes Evan is high and does not want him to drive, so he tries getting a ride with another dude. Debbie finds Stillman's notebook that he left behind and goes out to return it to him. Stillman and Evan are both captivated seeing her, and Evan ends up hitting Stillman with the car. Debbie comes over to help him and he gets an idea and begins to write in his book, with Debbie admiring his genius. In present day, Stillman shows Evan a list of moments in their life which he regrets. One of them being a night spent with Debbie where he finally confessed to loving her. Caught up in the moment, Debbie shares with him a song she wrote saying it was inspired by their relationship. Stillman actually got a bit insecure about a line she sung, as he was waiting to hear her say she loves him too. She was disappointed in his reaction and obviously turned off by it at the moment. The next instance is when he shared one of his favorite movies with Debbie, Ryan, and a few of her friends who ended up laughing at his choice in movies. Feeling disrespected, Stillman responded in anger, which also seemed to bother Debbie. Back in the present day, Stillman is determined to make things different. He shows Evan a massive time machine that he has built, using massive speakers to manipulate sound waves. Evan tries to talk Stillman out of it, begging him to move on from Debbie and give up on trying to change the past, but Stillman explains how much he loves Debbie, as she is the first person to accept his weird ways, and he cannot let her go. His time machine is set up to link with his phone in the past and he wants Evan to travel back in time with him. Maybe this will change the outcome. Evan reluctantly agrees and steps into the machine, which begins to power up. The machine blasts sound waves and their consciousness is transported to their bodies in the first year of meeting Debbie. Evan is stoked at the possibilities, but Stillman keeps him on track, reminding him of the mission. The plan is to recreate the moments leading up to their meeting. Presumably the plan was successful and the friends are then transported to the movie viewing. The movie still sucks, and Debbie and her friends mock him for it. Stillman tries over and over again to give a proper response, but his hurt feelings keep getting in the way. He then tries responding in a confident tone, accepting they do not like the movie, and Debbie seems impressed by this response. The friends move forwards in time, and Debbie and Stillman get stuck on the roof of a building while Evan is in the elevator. Debbie has a fear of being confined and is worried, but Stillman picks the lock. Debbie is turned on by this and asks him to do it again, but he just uses his time machine, causing Evan to get stuck in a loop in the elevator. After meeting them on the roof, Evan reminds Stillman that he needs to fix the broken moments and stop replaying the great ones. Stillman agrees and sends himself back to the moment Debbie played her song for him. Before she starts, his insecurities resurface and he messes the moment up. He tries to time travel, but the application is stuck loading. Evan turns up, having lost his keys, and the three spend the night. The moment turns out perfect and Debbie ends up confirming that she loves him. Stillman tries helping Evan win over a girl, but the time machine starts acting up again. Later he tries to fix it but realizes that he is now unable to move backward in time. He calls Evan for help, because the next moment in their lives is a huge party with a bunch of Debbie's friends who make him insecure. The last time they partied it ended in an argument, so he decides to do something completely different. Stillman gets himself painted and is able to get everyone dancing eventually. Debbie starts dancing with a few dudes and he wants to interrupt, but eventually Debbie comes to him and the night ends well. The next morning, Stillman sees that the original text he received asking to break up has now changed, meaning Debbie did not break up with him. Evan ends up in a time shift, finding himself in an empty apartment. Stillman tells him that this is caused by changes he made in the past. He realizes that the girl he tried to hit on before is actually his girlfriend now. He is about to see her without clothes, but Stillman pulls them back to their time. The time machine has disappeared, and he realizes that since Debbie never broke up with him, he never created a time machine. He gives Debbie a call to confirm this, and she invites him over. Stillman is ecstatic at having Debbie back in his life, and the two break a few YouTube guidelines. For Stillman's birthday, they plan to have dinner, but Debbie is late. Stillman gets upset at her, feeling she is not making an effort. They head to a diner and Debbie tries to make it up to him, but Stillman's spirit is crushed. He feels bad about how he reacted to Debbie and tries texting her later, but he gets a text telling him that they need to talk. Fearing another breakup, Stillman heads back to his lab and starts working on the time machine once more. 2 years later, Debbie and Stillman are now married. Meeting up with Evan and more friends for dinner in their large home. Debbie ends up messing up the dinner, and we see that Stillman has recreated his time machine, using it to fix everything in the past 2 years. Evan notes that his friend looks very tired and urges him to rest. Debbie thinks it's weird that they never fight and they always agree on everything. You cannot please a woman. Stillman goes to talk with Evan, revealing that he has been using the machine all this time to fix everything. He is worried Debbie is no longer happy and maybe he is using the time machine too much. Debbie and Stillman try to fix things. Debbie thinks that a baby would help them find their purpose again, but Stillman is hesitant about taking such a huge step. Later, he kisses a sleeping Debbie, telling her that she deserves better. Stillman decides to destroy the time machine, but Evan comes over pleading with him not to do so as he has been secretly using it. Stillman explains that he needs to undo the day Evan hit him with his car, which caused him to figure out the time travel theorem, as he needs to let Debbie go. The two end up in an argument until Debbie comes in, shocked at seeing the large machine. Stillman tells her that he made it for her, with the idea of only leaving her with happy moments. Debbie feels betrayed as she thought that she was the problem on why she felt so empty. Stillman apologizes but explains that he will undo everything and Debbie will be free of him. Stillman boots up the machine, apologizing to Debbie for everything, telling her goodbye. Evan jumps in with him and the two end up on the first day he met Debbie. He sees Debbie looking through his notebook, ready to let her go until Evan tries hitting him with his car. After causing him to crash, Stillman reveals they are now stuck in this time period, and he has no memory of the time formula. Debbie finds him with his notebook, but Stillman just kisses her and tells her goodbye. Debbie then uses the time machine, ordering him to return and have the fight with her. She is mad that he trapped her in a relationship, but Stillman just explains that she made him feel loved and he wanted to keep her around. He has now accepted that he must let her go, but Debbie holds onto him, telling him they are still together. Stillman is excited at their first real argument as it has brought them together. After spending so much time together, true love is not something you can just walk away from. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more movies like this. Thanks for watching.